Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Connecting Greeks podcast. It's been just a little while since we last saw you guys because our main guy, Angelo, he's been all over the place. He's been traveling. He's been working. And we finally, we got him. We nailed him down. He's here with us tonight. I'm super excited. We have a very, very interesting topic on tonight's episode. And once you hear about it, it's going to really start to click with you because when I first heard about it, I was like, you know what? That makes perfect sense. I'll say no more. I'm going to introduce my co-host, Foti. Foti, how are you, man?
I'm good, Ari. Excellent over here in Boston. And as you mentioned, it took the both of us to nail down Angelo, but it's all good. This is exciting. Our guest this evening really brings a very interesting but special topic because as we all have kids, this really connects with us. So
I'll tell you what, kids or no kids, this connects to people from what I've seen.
That's a good point. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But before we introduce our guest, let's also say good hello to Angelo. Angelo.
Guys, I know it's been a minute.
You look different.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, so just for everybody listening, thanks for all the support that we've been getting on Connecting Greeks. I see the comments and they've been really good. And, I'm shocked that me, you, and Ari Forti have been, because usually Greeks after about 8 episodes will have a fight and then break up, and then we'll all do our own podcast. Call it something Greeks, but not us, because we the good thing about this podcast is that we make fun of each other, we have fun, but we love each other, and that's why people like it, because we try to keep it earnest and honest.
Yes.
So we had, as you know, we went through a pandemic. We're still kind of going through it, and now because I'm a touring comedian, there's a lot of makeup gigs now, and I really literally went from famine to feast now. It's just gone the opposite way. Q-tips going up the nose and everything.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
And you see the background now. This topic and this guest we're going to talk to today, I've gotten it. Actually, we became pandemic acquaintances and friends. Because of the pandemic made strange bedfellows. And I would see this guy on Instagram, and I was interested in what he was doing. And I thought today, I'm married to a person who's extremely obsessed with this topic. So I'm glad to be a part of it. So we're going to I know him as Lee, but we know him as Pashalopoulos.
That's the best name ever.
That's a great name. We'll say that 5 times. Hi, we'll just say Lee. You don't mind Lee? We'll say Lee. Because I like Pascali.
Perfect.
And you're another Boston guy, Pascali. So
I am a Boston guy. Born and raised.
Hey, born and raised Boston, great city. Love Boston. Going to get there soon. So now here's the thing. So let's lead it in like this. This is what I saw. I saw these page, Greece and Disney. Am I right, Lee?
Correct.
Greece and Disney.
Yep.
And I saw a petition to get a Greek pavilion at Epcot.
Correct.
And I thought, I've been to Epcot many times, and I'm thinking, if you are to put something at Epcot, it's logical, to me, that Greece would be there.
Right.
And I know that people have told me, and Lee's going to get into it. And then I said, you know what? I started reposting. I even went to the Disney theater at the El Capitan on Hollywood Boulevard and did a little shout out for them to do it. And, and then what the thing is, and this is where you got me here. It's like, because at the Moroccan pavilion, they're putting Greek stuff up. And this is really, Lee, right up the alley where Adi and Forti will agree that connecting Greeks, we're here to connect Greeks, but we also sometimes need to set things right. Mm-hmm. And hummus is not Greek.
Right.
Okay. Morocco is a beautiful country, but it's not Greek. Mm-hmm. You don't have souvlaki and spanakopita coming out of Morocco. Just the same way the Greeks don't do couscous. We have trachana.
Right.
Okay, which is a delicacy if you're from a Choreo. And I think it's a lost art. We got to get a trachana maker on the show. But,
Yes.
and I thought to myself, this is how societies and cultures erode. Misinformation. And then people think, well, Greek, Moroccan, Libyan, what's the difference?
Oh,
Right.
Big.
Right. So Lee, so tell us, you're Greece and Disney. You've got this massive campaign to get this pavilion. Now, tell us, first of all, how did you get involved in this, or how did you create this? Like, give us a little bit of what's going on.
I will tell you, first of all, I want to thank you guys for having me on. It much appreciated. It means a lot to me. I would also congratulate Angelo for his DECA award.
Thanks.
Well
Yeah.
deserved. Well
Thank
deserved.
Yeah.
Congrats, Angelo.
So how this started, I'll go way back. So when I was a kid, I was class artist most of my life. In the yearbook, I was actually accepted to Rhode Island School of Design, which is where Seth MacFarlane went to, accepted to Pratt University. And we're all Greek here, so you'll understand when I say this. If you have a dream and you have Greek parents, they have a great way of destroying that dream. So I wanted to be an Imagineer. And my father, who's, God bless him, 86 years old, I can still remember him saying it, still echoes in my head. He goes, "Τι νομίζεις το ποντίκι θα ζωγραφίσεις?" And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, "Κάτσε καλά ρε, πήγαινε στο Northeastern like everybody else." And I'm like, okay, sure, right? So there goes that, right?
Oh,
So needless to say, moving forward, my wife and I go to Disney once a year, whether it's a couple days. We're actually going for Thanksgiving, which I'm actually going for reconnaissance, but we go every year. And a couple of years ago, before COVID had hit, we went with my side of the family, my wife's side of the family, and we're walking around. And my wife's uncle had asked, he goes, "Hey, where can we get some Greek food?" And I'm like, well, Cat Cora did have a restaurant over by the boardwalk, but it was out of the way. And it was almost like unfair how they did it. They put her like, to get there, you would have to spend a good amount of time, which when you're at Disney World, time is of the essence. You don't have that much time. Like half an hour, you could be on a ride or do something else, right? So needless to say, I'm walking around and I see a cast member. So I go, "Excuse me," I said, "Where can we get some Greek food?" And the cast member looks at me and goes, "Oh, if you want Greek food, you can go to the Moroccan Pavilion." And that's when it started. I looked at her and I go, "I'm sorry, what?" She goes, "Yeah, you can go to the Moroccan Pavilion." So I'm like, okay, sure. So we go to the pavilion, we sit down, they hand us the menus. And that's when it was born. I looked down, I see spanakopita, I saw ouzo, I saw ritsina, I'm like, now put that aside for a second. If you go to the other pavilions, now, if people aren't familiar with Epcot's, with Disney World, there's 4 parks. Epcot is one of them. Epcot stands for Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. On the backside of Epcot, there's an area called the World Showcase. There's 11 countries there. Mexico, Germany, France, Germany, Japan, Morocco, Norway, Italy, United Kingdom, Canada, and the United States. All the countries that are there are true to each country. So when you go to those countries, the people that work there are actually students that are on a work-study program. So when you're in Italy, everybody speaks Italian. You feel like you're there. They get the Italian music. They have a miniature version of the pavilion. You feel like you're in Italy. The food is actually imported from Italy down to the water. So when they make whatever, it's pizzas, pasta, whatever, it's authentic food from that country. All the countries are like that except for Morocco. Morocco's got this mishmash of, like, pardon my French, malakias going on. And I was like, it bothered me. And I'm like, they just watered us down to nothing, right? So when we got back from our vacation, it was a Sunday morning, sitting at the table, I just started doodling on a napkin. And my wife's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm creating a petition." I go, "This is ridiculous." I go, what I saw bothered me. And one of the things that made me so upset was the fact that the CEO of Segment Development and Enrichment is a gentleman by the name of George Galugridis.
Right.
Who's been working at Disney for 50 years.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, this guy must have connections, must know someone. How does he walk through Epcot's World Showcase with a name like George Galugridis and not be like, "Where's my country? Where's my history?" Right? And it's not like I'm talking about some random country. I'm talking about Greece. I'm talking about the country that shaped Western civilization, right? And I don't have to tell you guys what Greeks have done, right? So that's how it started. And
but take that one step further, and you have a lot of, not every single person who's going to walk through Epcot is, a rocket scientist. So you have people who might think that gyro and feta and tiropita is Moroccan now because that's what they're looking at. So it's like,
right.
it not only doesn't represent us, but it also misrepresents us.
That's correct.
So it's a great
well, the funny part is you make a good point, Ari, because I just posted something the other day. They just updated the menu and it said tiropitakia, right? I'm like, okay, first of all,
so hold on, Lee. So they're even calling it tiropitakia.
If you go
the way
on,
you would say it in the Greek way. So to add to what you and Ari just said now, if you're going to put Greek food Disney on the menu, because everybody loves Disney, it's the brand is unbelievable, then make a Greek pavilion. Think of it's endless. It's endless what they can do with a Greek pavilion. No offense to Morocco, it's nice. It's a desert. Right. Casablanca and Marrakesh, whatever. That's good. But you're honestly, I agree 100%. Forget that it's Greek. This shows Greek background. Think of its endless possibilities, what they can do to educate, all the things, the gods, the this. It goes on. I don't even think they'd have enough space to do all the things if they want.
That's a good point. Now, you made a good point. I was going to say something about that. So as far as marketing goes, and I'm just going to name 3 things because I could go on for hours, but every couple of years we have the Olympics, right? We have the Summer Olympics and the Winter Olympics. Right there, they could probably create so much merchandising. It's crazy. Just last month they had Run Disney. It's a marathon that they have.
Hold on.
Last I checked, the marathon.
It's a what? It's a what?
They had
and where's marathon?
Right. Exactly.
Greece.
Exactly. So, but the problem is, if you go over to the Italian pavilion, they have a statue of Neptune, right? So it's kind of like they watered us down. And, I want to think like I'm not imagining things, but like the other night I got bored and I was watching the Hercules cartoon just to refresh myself. And if you watch it, a lot of the characters don't look Greek. They don't even look like, they look like they're like from South Africa. They don't even look like we would look. Do you know what I mean? So it's anything that has to do with Greece is watered down, washed up, and it really bothers me that they haven't done it for us. Now I did some research and I looked back. So back in the 80s, so the World Showcase opened October 1st, 1982. There was a contract for a Greek pavilion. Now this is where it gets interesting, and this is why I love Greek so much. So they got these Greeks from Tarpon Springs to pitch in money. They got the Onassis family to pitch in money. Melina Mercouri was going to be the spokesperson. All the ducks were in a row. And when it came time to crossing T's and dotting I's and collecting the funds to start the build, all the Greeks scattered and it just went out the window. And it was no more. And I got that story from a very reliable source. So when I started this petition, that source had reached out to me and said, hey, you know what? Do it again. Go for it. He's given us some ideas what we need to do and to get their attention. And, the last few months we've been on a couple of 5 or 6 periodicals online. A few people have reached out to us, and, Angelo's been nothing but amazing and helped us out. So we got one celebrity, but we need more, and that's
that's what I thought. I thought that maybe started because my daughter was about 6 months or 8 months old, and I had either hosted or presented at the Greek America Foundation. No, it was the Greek America Foundation, which was done at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood, the Disney Theater.
Yeah.
And they had, I was a presenter, and they had Paparizu, the singer, who went and sang after Paramount. It was a phenomenal night. It's our friend Greg Pappas, from Pappas Post and everything, and every time this guy does stuff, he just does it so well. And the next day, I remember going with It was Carrie Antholis, who is the at the time president of HBO Films, was there with his kid, and my Olivia was maybe 6 or 8 months, and ironically, my wife's best friend's brother is the head costumer at Disney, and what they did, guys, they did a Greek Tsolia version of Minnie and Mickey.
Mm.
And they had a little section there, and they had what they did, because it was here. I think they did it in Orlando too, Lee. I can't remember. They did it in Disneyland. They had Greek kids culturally from the FDF, and those guys were dancing. And they had put food items to check them out. And the guy said they had because it was the first time ever in Disney history that Mickey played an ethnic character.
Oh, interesting.
So not ironically, but he was Evzone. He was he was playing a Greek with a Tsolia and the whole thing. That's the one that Disney went with.
Right.
So when we were there, and I waited, and my daughter was little, and when I got pictures with Minnie and Mickey and Tsolia. I put it up sometimes on I have to find it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, with the guy at the park, and they had T-shirts. So they made T-shirts, collector T-shirts. So the guy goes, well, I asked, he goes, well, we made 25,000 T-shirts. And he goes, we thought that'd be good for the 3 days. They were gone in 3 hours.
Wow.
Greeks were buying 10, 20, 30, 40 shirts at a time because it was collectors. And the guy goes, if we knew we were going to sell this much merch, I wanted to buy about a dozen because I wanted to send them to my friends in Canada, my cousins in Greece, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So adding to what Lee is saying now about doing this, if Disney saw the merch, I mean, the merch was, guys, the first night, it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The first night, the merch was gone. We went to every kiosk with my wife looking for those Disney, had Mickey and Minnie and Tsolia, and the Greek, gone. There was, in the first couple of hours, they were gone. So that's why I thought you got to push. The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Well, can I use that segue, Andrew, because you couldn't have set this up any better. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I know I sent a bunch of photos to Forti as well. I've been working on designs for merch, right? So I'm basically, with my own money, I've designed the park. I'm designing rides. The food, Greeks know what the food is, right? Like spanakopita doesn't have tomato relish in Morocco, whatever's going on there. But I want to thank, I want to, on a sidebar, I want to thank Ann and Jay from Fire Designs in Stoughton, Massachusetts, because they took one of my drawings, I sent it to them, and they made this for me.
Oh, wow, cool. That's very cool.
That's Minnie. This is it's low cut. It's a V-neck for the ladies, you know. The men's, I made sweatshirts. I got a bunch of designs in my head. That's just a prototype, but as far as merch goes, you made a very good point, Ange. I posted something online of a bunch of T-shirts that I designed, and I had a bunch of people like, hey, where can I get that? Where can I get that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I can just show Disney, there is a want, there is a need for a Greek pavilion. The amount of money, and it's just, I mean, I think we're all just average guys here. I mean, just think about it. I mean, Greece sells itself, you know, and I just don't get why it's not there yet. So if we can somehow get the ball rolling, and I know part of it is the funding. At one point, the countries had to fund part of it, right? And ironically, last night, and I do my best to delete trolls that reach out to me because people try to get you going. Somebody put ha Greeks, laugh my ass off. You guys are broke, blah blah, and I deleted it. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to engage. Focus, Lee. Focus, and that was it.
They're going to do that regardless.
Well, they want you to engage. That's the point.
Right.
They want you to engage, so they drag it out and ruin your reputation and all that stuff. So
trust me, the fighter in me wants to reach through the phone, but I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I'm like, you got to focus, man. So like I said, I'm designing merch. I'm doing everything out of my own pocket. I'm not asking anything from anybody. All I'm asking for basically is for Greeks for once. And I think you all know what I mean. For all, just once, let's put our differences aside. Let's all get together. I want us to be the first country that we started this as a grassroots project, and it blossomed. And I mean, what are they going to say? No to us? And if there's a guy named George Kalogridis head of segment development, he says no, then there's nothing I can do. I've done my part. I've got the ball rolling.
Now, Lee, let me ask you two things.
Sure.
First one I'm going to ask you, has there been any feedback from Disney? Have they taken notice yet? Has anybody reached out to your?
I sent my project. I actually emailed it to George Kalogridis through LinkedIn, and he sent me this like misspelled message, just like maybe he was typing it while he was driving. I don't know. Oh, thanks so much. We'll send to Disney Imagineers. Good luck.
Standard
blow me off. And you know what? I don't stop. I'm just going to keep going.
No, that's the attitude. Let me ask you, from all the petitioners, where is the highest concentration of people who support the project? Like, just speaking geography.
A lot of them are Northeast. I get a lot of those darn Canadians, and I'm married to one, so I can say that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Canadians, a lot of people in the Northeast. I've gotten people all over the world: Australia, Germany, Africa. I go through the whole thing. California, all over the world. We've had everywhere. Everyone sign it. We're up to almost 5,000 signatures, but I think COVID slowed it down. We're on a roll, and now it's starting to pick up again. But we need a good amount of signatures to get their attention. 5,000 is not going to do it.
We need 500,000 signatures or something here.
If we get 100,000 to 200,000 signatures, now you're got people's attention. Yeah,
Are you getting signatures from Greece?
I have actually. The funny thing is, Sporty, I reached out to this one guy, and I don't know if he posts these Disney things. He's got like 25,000 followers, and I sent him a nice email, and he does a lot of Disney stuff and voices and this and that. I don't know. I don't think he works for Disney, but he's clearly a Disney fan. I said, hey, this is what I'm working on. This is my video. Check it out. If you can get your people to sign it, that'll be great. Basically said, no, thanks, not interested. And I'm like, okay.
Wow.
I'm like, okay. And I get it, because a lot of Greeks, and I think you guys know this too, we all have family in Greece that will never leave Greece. They all vacation at the beaches, and that's it. That's because they don't have the money to go to Walt Disney World for two people for 5 days. You're looking at about $4,500 to $5,000
at least. I was going to say,
at least. And when you're making €600 a month, it's not gonna happen. And even if you went to Paris, it's still gonna cost you a lot of money.
Yeah, it sounds like this is really the focus needs to be in North America, like United States, Canada, because those are the people that are very proud to be Greek, and those are the people that are going to Disney World that would appreciate to see something like a Greek pavilion. Well, there's plenty of them here. I mean, you just got to get the word out. You just got to keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
And, after tonight's episode, you should get at least 1 million signups tomorrow, right?
Should be.
If I get 5, I'm calling you.
All right.
If I just get 5. No, but it's funny. If you go during March, which it's March break. Yeah. I was actually in line a few years ago with my sister-in-law and my nephew and my wife, and everybody, I was the only American in line. I had Calgary, I had Toronto, I had Ottawa. Everyone was I was the odd man out. So yeah, a lot of Canadians go to Walt Disney World. They do.
I have a wife who pre-COVID would go 7 to 10 times a month.
My kind of girl.
And does she work there?
And no, she has one of those California resident. I don't have a full-time job pass. That's what she.
Oh, okay.
So, and now so you see, the thing is, some of my best source material has come by going to Disney.
Yeah.
In essence, I've been going for years and I like it. They love it. They go, people go. It's escapism, really, is what you think about. You get to go somewhere and get lost, even especially for adults. And they do, and you got to give Disney credit when they do stuff, they really do it right. I mean, they do the new Star Wars thing and all the stuff they're doing is unbelievable. What they're doing.
They do, but this thing with Greece is like, you know, if you remove Greece from our everyday lives, right? If you actually think about it, people won't have much left. You know, like I wrote down some simple things that people don't notice, but like fraternities and sororities use Greek letters all the time.
Of course.
College and university football teams, how many are named Trojans and Spartans? You know, look at company name, look at logos, look at Versace. He uses Medusa. Nike sneakers, Oracle, Starbucks, Nikon cameras, Olympic cameras. I mean, it's endless. It's endless how many things are Greek around us. And one of the biggest and most profitable companies in the world is denying this. While the rest of the world is using Greece and everything about Greece, Disney, for some reason, is like arm's length.
But do you know if there's any bigger reason, or is it just they could not be bothered at this point to do something like this? Because I don't think it's anti-Greek. I just think it's like they got their heads in a million other things, and this isn't just quite important enough for them. If you get those signatures, I mean, that'll definitely, you know, bring it up a notch. But I'm saying, like, it can't be anti-Greek, right? It's not an anti-Greek thing, is it?
I've gone a step further, Ari. Okay, I try to do a lot of research on this, and you know, my wife says it keeps me out of trouble. I could be doing other stuff, but Disney right now, their bread and butter is female characters, the Moanas, the Anna and Elsas. Where's the goddess Athena? You mean to tell me you can't write a story on that? There's a whole city named Athens, Greece, that you could go off of. I mean, it's everything is right there in front of you, plain as day, black and white. I mean,
they use is Clash of the Titans a Disney movie? Because they used Medusa in the original, right? And that was one of the best villains in film.
Right. I mean, there's so many avenues. I mean, it's a no-brainer at this point, you know. And I'm just trying to bring attention to it. And I put, like, on my Instagram page, I've created many renderings of what the park may look like. You know, I've posted foods, I've posted designs of clothing and, you know, souvenirs you could buy. You know, I'm just doing it for Greece. That's it. I don't want any money. I didn't even want to show my face because, let's be honest, I'm not that good looking to begin with. But I wanted to do it for the people of Greece and for you know, for our kids. You know, it's the right thing for them to do.
Really
I'm on board. I'm definitely on board because I also believe in what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's good.
And
now,
you know,
so Lee, let me ask you this.
Sure.
I'll be devil's advocate. 2004, 2003, 2004, number one movie in the world was something called My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which set box office records. A little team from Elas in 2004 have now arguably to this day is called the biggest upset in sports history.
Right.
By winning the Euro. They beat teams they shouldn't have beaten. They went to a place where they shouldn't have gone and they did it. And then finally they woke up and said, you know what? We're going to do the 04 Olympics in Greece. There was some issues with labor. They were still fixing the stadiums as people were coming in, but nonetheless, they did. I said that show they put on, I don't think, not even the Chinese or nobody, that show they put on, you know,
beautiful,
was unbelievable.
Right.
So here you are now, 04, 05, being Greek was the thing. I was getting more work because of Big Fat Greek Wedding. Euro Cup, the world went berserko. I don't think Greeks worked for a week anywhere.
Right.
Then we had the Olympics, which was just outstanding. So we did all that stuff. That was amazing. Then we had a crisis happen in Greece. And we felt 08, 07, 08, just a few years later, a crisis happens and hit the Greeks a little harder. I think the more people, and I think it wasn't fair because they really tried to make Greece the example to the world for some reason. They were like, no, it's time. The Greeks had their time. Now we're going to show the world. And it was bad. It was bad. I would talk to people, see people. Do you think, guys, and Ari touched on this earlier, do you think that maybe, I'll break it down to you like this. As a comedian, I can do 100 great shows and nobody will say anything. I do one bad show.
That's all they talk
And they're like, hey, Ange, that show wasn't good, huh? No, but I did 100 great shows. Yeah, but that show you did there on Thursday was bad.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So it's a human mentality. It's like the bad sticks out more than the good.
Right.
So when you're looking at this now, do you think in a mass media thing, a company like Disney or somebody, because they're aware of it, they've done Hercules, they've done all kinds. I've gone to do some voice work for them for certain things. They're quite aware of Greek heritage and tradition. They know a lot of the stories. Like Hercules is a big one, and you know all the there's like Zeus. It goes on and on and on, like you said.
Yeah.
But do you think, does this generation associate it still? And I'm being devil's advocate because I think the Greek with the new prime minister in Greece, Europe is starting to take a bend towards Greeks. They're starting to see a turnaround that they've never seen before. The prime minister of Greece did something really clever. He opened Greece up while everybody else was shut down. Mm. And it worked. It's like he knew we got to go back to work. He stuck to COVID protocols, but he said, if you're vaccinated, come to Greece. Because he knew another year was going to bankrupt that country again.
Yeah.
So do you think when it comes to Disney Greece and people look at it, and you said it yourself, because I'm thinking it's a sure fit for Disney, but do you think they look at it as it's a pipe dream for you guys? Does that work against it's the image? Like I said, you got all this amazing stuff. It's amazing. And you got people going, this is a great idea. But in the mass public, because not everybody knows, people know where Greece is, but a lot of people don't even know. People don't even know where Montreal is. I was trying to tell them where it was yesterday. Where is that? You know what I'm saying, Lee? It's like,
right. So let me go off of that. You make a good point. So if we were going to do that, okay, here's my rebuttal. Let's look at and I hate going this route because it starts getting political. So I'm going to try to get in and out.
Okay.
If you look at some of the other countries that are in the World Showcase and you look at their history, it's pretty dark. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
If Greece's only downside is, sorry, we didn't balance our checkbook.
Big deal.
Okay, fine. But there's a couple countries in the World Showcase that have started some pretty big wars and done some pretty god-awful things. And they're in the World Showcase. Greece has never started a war. We finished the war. We've never started a war. What have we done? We've given people 50,000 words in the English language. Democracy, philosophy, the Olympics, marathons, medicine, science. I could go on for the next 20 minutes. There are countries, and I'm staring at some of them, and I'm like, if you look at their history, you're like, wow, that's dark. And they have their own. So if Disney's going to say, well, you know, Greece did this a couple of years ago and their economy collapsed compared to what some of the other countries did, it's apples to oranges, you know, that should come and go. And going off of what you said about, 2004 with the Greeks, well, it's kind of coming back because Giannis just won the championship last year and he took the NBA title to the Acropolis. Yeah. The two was a top 5 female and male tennis players in the world right now. Yeah. Are both Greek. So it's the second, it's not as big, but it's the second coming. Do you know what I mean? So,
and Disney's making a movie about Giannis. They've
right.
already finished it.
So where are they going to open it up in Morocco? I mean, come on, seriously. Come on. It's such a, it's, I don't know, some of these Imagineers, like, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm just, these are things that just pop in my head because I'm a proud Greek, but
Listen,
it's right there.
whatever you're saying, Lee, I'm convinced. Guys, whatever Lee's putting out here for it, I'm convinced.
Oh, I totally agree.
There's no reason.
Absolutely.
No,
I don't think there's a big I don't think there's a big thing about this. I just think Disney's so massive and so rich, so whatever, and the pavilions are all there, and for them it's like, whatever. Like, if it's necessary, we'll do it, but it's not necessary, so we couldn't be bothered at this point. That's why, Lee, what your mission is so important, because you have to make it that they can be bothered. You know, right now they can't be bothered, but you have to make it so they can be bothered and they actually execute.
Right. Well, two of the countries that were in the running were Brazil and Spain. Those are the rumored countries, right? If you look at the tourism of those countries compared to Greece, we nearly double them. So I did some behind the scenes analytics with this, and I found out that when a pavilion opened up in Epcot, those countries saw a small spike in their tourism, right? Mm-hmm. That's not a bad thing for Greece. That's money. At the end of the day, Disney World isn't about, what T-shirt you're going to buy and what Mickey Mouse is doing. It's about the money for them. And a Greece pavilion would be just a huge money grab. I mean, and there's so many famous Greeks right now out there, the Jennifer Anistons, the Angelos, Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, they're so pro-Greek. There's so many that if they just jumped on board, and, we tried reaching out to John Stamos, and I know Angela knows this, but because he works for ABC, which is a parent company at Disney. I get it. His hands are tied, and he's liked some of our stuff. And I feel like when he's liked it, I feel like he's saying, hey, I'm here, but I can't do anything, Right. So I appreciate it. But I mean, if somebody like that, another 2 or 3 famous Greeks jumped on board, I think this would just steamroll, That's my personal opinion.
But Lee, don't you think, even from a business perspective, Disney's got to refresh that? Those countries are stale now. You got
very stale.
Going on for how many years? 40 years. Time to put something new in there. That's business perspective. They got to refresh it. Yeah,
they do have to
countries, put some new ones in.
And some of the countries that are in there, if you look at, and I'm not going to bash Morocco because it's probably one of the most beautiful pavilions. The King of Morocco actually sent contractors to place the mosaic tiles in by hand. So it's a beautiful pavilion. The problem is it's serving Greek food. And if you look at a map, I posted it on Instagram, we're 1,500 miles apart. I mean, we couldn't be more different than that country. Different language, different religion, different everything. And you just dump us in there.
They're ethnic. It doesn't matter, man.
Yeah.
So
maybe we look the same.
Know the difference.
Right. And you know what? I always say this, and and I don't want to, goof on any other countries because, everybody brings something to the table. But at the end of the day, if you look at Greece's resume, it dwarfs everyone else's, So,
well said.
it is, if Greece was going for a job interview and they showed their resume, they would be like, okay, you're CEO now. Do you know what I mean? So,
well, can we ask you, in a perfect world, what would happen? What would happen in a perfect world for you? Would it be just to get the signatures? Would it be to get somebody from Disney to respond? Would it be like the pavilion's created and you're done? Is there anything further down the line? Like, what would be for you a perfect world?
The perfect, well, there's a few pieces of that, but the perfect world would be we have a plan in order. So step 1 would be get the signatures, show Disney that, hey, we got 500,000 people that want, 1 million people, whatever, that want this, right? That for them translates into money. The average person spends $1,000 in Disney World. So you take 1 million times 1,000, that's a lot of bank for them, right? Mm-hmm. And that's on the low end, okay? Get some famous Greek people who, and again, I appreciate what Angela has done, but I can't do this myself and I can't do it with one famous person. I need more people.
Yes.
momentum. So I can't do it myself, and I appreciate what you guys have done having me on, but this is a group effort. This is for everyone. And again, I'm not doing it for fame. I'm not doing it to get my name out there. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it to get Greece a Pavilion, and then I'll be happy. That's it. Cut a ribbon, have all the Greeks in the world be like, hey, we did it. We did it together. You know, I started it, but we all finished it.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
I mean, it's a great mission to be on, and you just gotta keep it on.
That's
The
right.
longer you do this, the more people are gonna be part of it. The more signatures you're gonna get. Maybe some celebrities here and there can jump on, but you just gotta keep doing it.
We gotta connect all our Greeks across this country, Canada, all around, that can basically feel the same way we're feeling, because
He's frozen, but that's all right. So
you got to upgrade from Radio Shack for your Wi-Fi.
I was going to ask for those
Greek is on and connecting Greeks, and all I'm hearing is yeah.
Did you guys check to see if those bottles behind them were empty?
Probably not.
they're definitely empty.
Yeah. So Lee, let me ask you.
Sure.
So right now, in terms of, and you're constantly on it, and anything you try to do, you're always gonna have some people who they're just negative Nancy's. It doesn't matter what you do,
right?
Like that, you go to the positive people in it. Do you think is there an opportunity here to do a parallel universe of what you're trying to do at Disney, where maybe you do a brand that's kind of like, we want friends of Disney or something. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's what it takes, right?
Right.
Maybe we're looking in the wrong places. Do the celebrities have to be Greek? I say no. How about friends of Greeks who love
anyone?
Greek?
Listen, everybody. Listen, you make a good point, Angelo, because last summer after COVID started loosening up, if you look on Instagram of the celebrities that are non-Greek that go to Greece for vacation, lots. But I did reach out to, and I mentioned this to Ari. I reached out to Nia Vardalos. I sent a very nice email, sent my link. I said, this is what I'm doing. My name is so-and-so. Saw your movie, loved it, blah, blah, blah. Just, set it up. And then the next day she blocked me. And I'm like, okay. So I double checked with my wife, and she's like, I should do that. No. She's like, my wife was like, well, she didn't block me. I'm like, apparently you didn't send her the petition. She didn't want anything to do with it. And I'm like, wow. I'm like,
in fairness, I'm not even as popular as Nia or any John Stamos. And I get a lot of weird, but within reason. I get every day from Greece or somebody sending me something, and my Greek isn't that good. I always got to get Google Translate. But the fact that he said, hey, what are you going to think? And then you get blocked. So I think they don't want it, because people, don't forget, people keep trying to send her scripts.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right. All that stuff. So, everybody thinks because she's Greek that they should just give her whatever it is. And it doesn't necessarily work that way.
Well, I told Lee last time that we were the first people to premiere My Big Fat Greek Wedding before it went into wide release. And she came to Boston. We did a whole theater thing. We hung out with her for 2 days. We interviewed her. Great. And then when My Life in Ruins came out, I reached out to her, and no response, no nothing. So I'm like, it's just one of those things where I will give her the benefit of the doubt. She's probably just so busy and probably gets approached by so many people that at this point she doesn't even have time to go into explanations. She's just like block.
My friend who's a comic went and saw that movie. He goes, I saw that movie, her new one, and my life is ruined. He goes, as the comic side of me wants to make fun of it, but we always try to support these things, And look, the original Big Fat Greek Wedding was a triple grand slam. So that movie, but I also believe you got to move on with everything. That's why I think, Lee, what you're doing, even from Disney perspective. Disney's got to refresh those fucking countries up now. You know, they got to refresh it.
I totally agree.
Put
Totally
3-4 new, not just Greece. Let's put Iceland. Let's put Greece. You know, we can put Albania. We could, whatever. I mean, let's just mix it up, because I look at I look at anybody who's in media, even with the guys here, when we're doing stuff, we're constantly trying to reshape what we're doing. But if you leave things the same, it gets stale. And I think all those showcase countries, to me, are boring now.
Mm-hmm.
So the former, I always say this, the former president of, I'm sorry, the prime minister of France once said that Europe without Greece is like a child without a birth certificate, right? And that's just that saying just goes, you know, it's a great saying, and it means a lot, right? And I think I mentioned it earlier, and this is how precise some of these pavilions are. And I think I mentioned it to Ari and Footy the other day, but like, for example, the Italian pavilion, which I know Frank Spadone would love to go to if he hasn't been to already, which I want to thank Frank too, because he pushes it as well. So I want to thank him.
Frank pushes it too. Yeah.
Yeah. Frank's a great guy. And I told him I want to take him to drinks next time I'm up in Canada, up in Toronto. But they actually ship over the cheese, the flour, the meats, all the ingredients. So when you have a pizza in Italy, it's like you're having it in the country, like spot on. And for them to take tiro pitaki in such a small little thing and put tomato relish and stick it in, I'm like, seriously, for Greeks? I take offense to that. And I don't know how many more people are enough.
Food is like the most important thing for us.
Yeah, like Mexicana, as my father would say, we're disposable. I'm like, we've done so much for this world, and this is what we get. Like, we deserve better than that. We really do. You know, as Greeks, our pride should be like, you know, I know Greeks have a lot of pride, and, you know, but show me, prove it to me. Everybody jump on board and let's do this. You know, we'll be I did the research. We would be the first country to do a grassroots petition like this to get into Disney World. We're the only ones. You know, I started it, but I knew everybody.
I like it, but I think you also got to present it to them from a point of view that, hey guys, what you guys have is boring now. You know, I think it's boring. I mean, if I know there's new countries there, then I'll go back again, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not gonna go to Six Flags or Disney and do the same rides over and over again. You got to bring in something new.
Right. Right. Well, that's why we made the t-shirts. I'm actually going to wear the t-shirt around the park and see how many people I get to.
Good idea.
You know, I'm gonna, and you know, worst they can do is tell me to take it off. But I'm actually gonna. My wife's not too thrilled with me, but I'm actually going to walk into the Morocco Pavilion with a camera and say, "How come you guys have Greek food on your menu?"
Yeah.
And just to see what they say, you know, I'm like, I think that's a great question.
Make sure if you get escorted out, you videotape that.
I'm gonna start yelling "Connecting Greeks" on the way out.
But Lee, you're not alone, Lee. None of our wives are pretty impressed with us these days. Anyway.
Well, you know what? At the beginning, my wife thought I was crazy and wasting my time. But right after you endorsed us, Angelo, she was like, "Oh, wait a minute, this is going somewhere." And then, a couple other people signed on, and
I like that. Yeah. And I was at the Stella Adler at Highland in Hollywood. And I had to go for an audition, and I was walking by and I thought, let me make a video here at the El Capitan Disney Theater.
That was well done. That was well done.
I thought it was just a good opportunity.
Yeah.
I think I got I don't know if it was selfie or got my wife to do it. And I thought, you know what? It's a great idea. And I look, there's a lot of Malakia ideas that I don't, so I mean, I can't even describe some of them, but this is something I think that generationally is good for the kids. It is good as a proud Greek. I mean, I dig your passion, and I'm like you, when people tell me I can't do something, then I'm like, no, we've been told most of our lives, because think about it. Our parents are from Greece, like all immigrants. We're not 100% Greek in Greece, and we're not 100% American in America.
Right.
So what the fuck are we? And this is why you need those reminders.
Right.
And I said this before. And think about it. This is an advantage for Disney. That's why I liked what you were doing. I'm thinking this only adds value to your brand.
Right. Right.
You know, forget the pride and everything else. This is good. And the food's great.
Right.
I've never had people telling me, oh, I hate Greek food. I've never heard it from anybody.
Right.
They may say it's not their preference. That's fair.
Right.
But, you know, at the same time, it's like, you know, something like that would be a lot of fun and merchandise. But if Disney, see, a lot of times, even these big companies, they fall asleep. They think, well, people like this. No, you got, like you said, maybe put a Brazil, Spain, Greece, and pick another country. And then rotate 4 out and put 4 in for 2-3 years, and rotate those ones out. They should be rotating all the time.
Well, you make a good point. And, you know, in a perfect world, if I was in charge, I'd say, you know what? Angelo Tsarouchas would be the spokesperson for this pavilion. But Disney has a Greek at their that they've had for years now. They had John Stamos, you know, and I'm like,
that fucking guy, he gets better looking with age.
I know, right?
I've met John many times, and you know, the guy is that good looking.
Yeah, I
No
know.
makeup. And he's actually a super nice guy. He's really nice.
He seems it, and I get it.
He really is. He really is a good guy. He's super nice.
I get it. And I get it. And I, you know, he's, you know, I follow the guy. I've liked him for years, but, you know, he's got his son, Billy, you know, who, when that kid gets older, you know, he's going to take him to Disney World. Isn't he going to say, hey, Dad, we're Greek. Where's the pavilion? You know, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's, you know, as Greeks, we should all be on board on this, you know, and like, I'll emphasize that again. I'm not doing it for fame. I'm not doing it for the money. I actually spend my own money designing these t-shirts, and I'm doing it to get this done. It's the right thing to do. You know,
I'm just going to say, Lee, keep doing what you're doing, and it's going to gain momentum, and it's going to snowball. I'm sure of it, because if right now you probably have whatever you have because that many people know about it. But once 10,000 people know about it, 50,000 people know about it, 100,000 people know about it, you're going to have those many supporters. So you just got to keep going. You just got to keep going. That's it.
That's what I'm doing, man. I knew when I did this, it wasn't going to happen overnight. It wasn't going to be in a month or a year. I said, this is going to take at least 5 years. So I started it about 2 years ago.
Right.
Obviously, COVID hit, things happen, you know, the whole world stopped, you know, so I get it. But now it's starting to pick up again. You know, my wife and I made a decision last minute. We're like, you know what? We're going to head down there for Thanksgiving. I had the t-shirts made. And again, I want to thank Anna and Jay from Fire Designs. They made the shirts for me real quick. And see what happens. Go from there. You know, we got a plan. Like I said, once I get a certain amount of signatures, then I need a couple more, you know, with Angelo as well, celebrities. And then from there, you know, it should start picking up speed. We've had quite a few articles online written about us, you know, and you know, and actually one of the nicest things I've seen was this little kid reached out to me on Facebook, and I think he's half Greek, and he made this video of what a Greek pavilion would look like, and he made a ride out of a box, and he put Hercules' face on the front of it, and it was touching because it was just this little kid who wants to see it happen. So I'm like, that's just one. You know, so I have an idea in my head what I want to do, get like kids involved, like it's a marketing thing that maybe I'll talk to you guys about after the fact. But yeah, I mean, if it's done the right way, we'll get their attention, you know. If
I put Forty in a box and put Hercules' face on it, can I send you that picture?
How tall is Forty again?
He'll fit in the box.
Really? Okay. Well, make sure you poke some holes in it so he can breathe.
Just give me a hole so I can drink.
Before we're gonna give you over to Forty, because Forty does this Fortyism thing.
Fortyism, I love that.
Fortyisms. We say Fortyisms by Forty. Where, for people listening now, where do they go to support the cause? Where do they go sign the petitions and everything? I'm sure Ari's gonna put all
we'll put links and everything up as well.
Verbally,
www.greece.org/Epcot.
Oh, that's a perfect and easy and simple link. I like it.
Yep, it's in real time. If it gets, actually a few weeks ago, we were getting like, I don't know what happened. We were getting like 20 signatures a minute. It was just, I don't know if people were bored or what, but if it locks up, just go back in it. But unfortunately, Thanos didn't come on, but he was the one that set this up. And it's,
you also never know like who picks it up, like some website, somebody's going to post it on Reddit, somebody's going to post something on Facebook, and you get like this big clump of people. So,
Right.
do your analytics as well and try to find out as much info so you could like target and you could like push it in certain places where you see activity going on and all that good fun web stuff that's
well, I'm trying to I'm gonna try to get an email blast to maybe some Greek churches. I was trying to reach out. I reached out to the Archdiocese, still waiting on that. Like I said, a few people have reached out to us. They said
I think we're gonna have it on our next newsletter as well.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome. Appreciate that.
It's interesting, it's fun, and we want to promote all things Greek. So,
well, like I said, man, I mean, at the end of the day, let's we all know how Greeks can be. We can be at each other's throats, but like right now, it's let's, like I said, put our differences aside. Let's get together and let's show the world what we can do again. We did it once before. I think if we all got together and said, hey, I think a great story would be Greeks got together, started this grassroots project, and they got it done. No other country's done it. We are the first ones. So
Right.
and everybody counts. I just started it. Everyone, it's a team effort. Everybody has to help. Every signature counts.
absolutely, yeah.
Well, we're here to help you, brother. All
Thank
the way.
you.
Listen, we've been talking about all these Greek things, so let's turn it over to Foti for some of his Fotiisms.
Oh yes. This is the moment that we get to know you a little bit more as a person, Lee. We got to hear about your mission, your goals, your passions, but you had mentioned at the beginning of the program, you're from the Boston area, South Shore, I'm assuming.
Yep.
I think we probably bumped into you to some of our events in Boston over the years, but you mentioned about food in the pavilions, but what about Lee? We want to know, what is your favorite and least favorite Greek food? Curveball there, but
my favorite Greek food, I would say that's a good one. That you stumped me there.
Trachana.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Yurvalakia because the other day Angelo posted them and my mother made
Oh yeah,
killer
made
Yurvalakia,
it.
those look good.
Bullseye.
let's make sure that the menu has that.
I mean, I think there should be a competition amongst moms because my mom's is really good. Those are
We could have that competition at the Greek Pavilion. We could
That's
have a
right.
Greek mom competition at the Greek Pavilion. Look at Angela.
So that's a first for you, Verlakia. Love it. Whoa.
And my least favorite, you know what? I like it all. Technically, baklava is a regional thing,
Okay.
but I can have if too much baklava. I feel like if I eat the whole thing, I'll be diabetic at the end. So,
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
yeah, not so much. Baklava is my least favorite, I would say.
Okay. What if it was in the form of popcorn?
Do you know I blew through that whole bag in one sitting?
I'm just kidding.
How
Just
good
kidding.
is baklava popcorn?
Yeah, exactly, right?
What
Right?
else?
My
What
wife
else?
came in and she saw me covered in like popcorn bits and an empty bag. So
Nice. You should have took a picture for us. But
I should have.
awesome. So, and then Lee, you made some references to your dad and how Greek dads are growing up, and some really interesting and funny sayings. Any other sayings growing up as a Greek American that resonates, or you can kind of share with us about what you were subject to with your parents? Any famous Greek sayings growing up?
Going out always, the mata su dekatesera. We've all heard that one.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, there's a couple I really can't say because I don't want to embarrass myself. But yeah, the mata su dekatesera. I mean, there's so many, but that's the one every time I would go out, because you know how Greeks are. We get ready at 11 o'clock to go out. So when you're walking out the door at 11, our parents are thinking we should be coming back home. And my father would say, which is funny now because on Saturday nights I'm on the couch at 8:00 and the night's done. So,
So back then, when were they also waiting for you to come back home?
oh, of course. You know, like, me pione suna. I'm like, seriously? Like,
Right.
what?
And Lee, the last question for you.
Sure.
As Greeks, you talk about our culture and how passionate we are, but we also still live by superstition.
Mhm.
Is there any superstition that you still live by?
No, I kind of believe in science. There is one that sometimes I cannot explain,
Okay.
and it's sematyaxe. And it's very difficult to explain to non-Greeks when somebody gives you the eye.
I believe it. I believe
Right?
it, Monty.
Like you'll walk, and the way Greeks are is when they give you a compliment, it's not even a compliment. They're actually giving you the mati. Like you'll see somebody in a Greek church and they'll be like, "Oh, and you're like, "Oh, thank you." And then 5 minutes later, you got a runny nose and a headache. You know what I mean? Like you're like, well, all of a sudden you got the chills and your bones hurt, and you're like, so then you got to do the oil and the stuff, the thing, and the, like this voodoo dance to get rid of it. Which,
Nice.
What? Maybe they can have a Xematkas station at the pavilion.
That's a great idea.
Hey,
Right?
you got Filipani station, a Matiasma station.
Right?
Too many
Awesome.
ideas. Well, listen,
Thank you so much, Lee.
Guys, no, thank you. You guys are awesome.
this was
Very much
great.
appreciated.
And like we said before, when people, maybe a lot of people haven't really thought about it, but once you put it in the terms that you put it, it's like a no-brainer. It's like, why do we not have this? So you know what? Everybody out there should support this. If you're Greek and you're proud, it's something that would be so cool. It will be so cool. And support Lee in what he's doing. Sign the petition. We'll have all the information linked. We just want to thank you for your time. I also want to
Thank you
say
for having me on.
a very special thanks for Angelo coming back in, because it's been a while, man. We missed you.
Well, I know. Well, now we're gonna get back into it. We got guests coming up, and
it's nice to see your face. It's nice to see your sense of humor. Nice to hear your voice. And
I have a question for
we love
Angelo.
having you back. Go ahead.
what's the question?
What shampoo are you using for that hair? Because it looks nice today.
Head and Shoulders.
What else? Nice and soft.
So anyway, thanks
Head and
again, Lee.
Shoulders. Tapu.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for
Lee,
taking the
thank
time.
you so much, brother.
Thanks, Lee.
And
Appreciate
we
it, guys.
will,
Thank
Have a
you.
good week, guys.
You
Likewise.
too, Angelo. And everybody out there, thank you for watching and listening. We'll have all of the information to support the petition in the notes of the podcast and the video. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Fati. Thank you, Angelo. We will see you guys next time.
Thanks,
Have
Adi.
a great night.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Bye-bye.